Good evening, all honors program scholars, faculty, staff, and any distinguished guests we have tonight. On behalf of the Alabama A&M University Honors Program, it is my honor and privilege to welcome you to the annual Signature of Excellence. This event stands as one of our most meaningful traditions in the program, a moment where we pause to celebrate the brilliance, dedication, and ambition that defines honors at Alabama Agricultural and Mechanical University. Started in 1993, the honors program was founded to attract, support, and retain academically talented students. Today, over 30 years later, we continue to carry that mission with pride. In this room, filled with scholars who challenge themselves, uplift their communities, and represent the excellence across the country, is proof that this mission is alive and thriving. Last year, I had the incredible opportunity to speak at this very event. Standing on the stage in Night Ballroom, I witnessed firsthand the power of what happens when our students dare to dream bigger, work harder, and step confidently into the spaces that were once out of reach for us. This year, of course, is no different. We have 8 remarkable students who will be sharing their internship experiences, stories that stretch from major companies to impactful organizations across the globe. Their journeys reflect not only their individual achievement, but the strength of the honors community that supports, encourages, and prepares students to excel beyond the classroom. The Signature of Excellence is more than a showcase. It is an invitation for every scholar here to see exactly what is possible for them, to learn from their peers, and to imagine themselves in their shoes, and to take steps that will lead them to their own transformative opportunities. So to our presenters, thank you so much for representing the honors program with pride. To our faculty, thank you for supporting our mission. And to our scholars, please continue thriving, continue seeking, and continue shining. Welcome to the 2025 Honors Program Signature of Excellence. I will now be passing the mic off to our interim director, Dr. Davis, so sorry, for a greeting.
Good evening, everyone. How are you? Are you sure? Absolutely. You all look so wonderful, and I want to thank you for welcoming me as your interim director. You all do such wonderful things, and I've had just wonderful experiences from the time I've met each of you to traveling with Chance and to the penny games, and just kind of everybody, every time I see you, you're so welcoming, and I appreciate you. And so I want to say good evening. Tonight we gather to celebrate something truly special. The Signature of Excellence is more than a showcase. It's a testament to the power of academic excellence, transformational experiences, and the pursuit of purpose. Selected scholars from our very own honors program will stand as shining examples of what dedication, curiosity, and courage can create. Each presenter you will hear from this evening represents the spirit of the program at its best. They've engaged in meaningful research, completed impactful internships, and stepped boldly into professional arenas where they not only learned, but led. Their journeys embody what happens when talent meets opportunity and when opportunity is met with preparation. As you listen to their stories, their discoveries, and their reflections, I encourage you to see this night as an invitation to be inspired, an invitation to imagine what your signature of excellence could be, and an invitation to continue elevating our campus community through scholarship, leadership, and service. Good evening to you.
Good evening, guys. And again, I will bring my welcome to this 18th annual Signature of Excellence. And so it's truly an honor anytime I stand before my scholars, but especially tonight as the program's moderator. From the very first year, this showcase has been built on a deeply personal foundation. The name, the Signature of Excellence, isn't just a title, it's a legacy. It comes directly from the voice of my mother. Her name was Deborah Ann. And she raised me on this mantra, really a mandate, that excellence should be my signature. She would say, let your work, Carla, be synonymous with excellence. And she meant consistent excellence. She meant that from washing a window to mopping a floor to writing an article, it should be so excellent all the time that anytime someone sees my work, they should know I did it. These words shaped me. And tonight we will witness scholars who embody that same spirit. These students that are presenting tonight have pushed beyond comfort, beyond requirement, and beyond expectation. It's so difficult every year to select just 8 because over 150 of our students had summer experiences, to study abroad, and research. But for time, we can only do 8. The Signature of Excellence is even more than a showcase. It's a standard. It's a standard, and it's a reminder that what you produce, how you lead, and how you show up should speak loudly on your behalf. So, as we begin this evening's program, I invite you to listen with intention and to be inspired without hesitation. So, welcome to the Signature of Excellence. Let us begin. Our first 4 scholars this evening had experiences all over the nation. From the west coast of Redmond, Washington, to the east coast in North Carolina, to down south in the music city of Nashville, Tennessee, and to our generational ancestral city with great history, Africatown, Alabama. Eugenia Justin, Trinity Ferguson, Kelvin Edwards, and Olivia Mallard will now approach in that order. So presenting our first person tonight, Honors Junior Scholar, Eugenia Justin.
So, good evening, scholars. Thank you. My name is Uchina Justin. I am an honors junior computer science major here at AAMU. And I must say that it is an absolute honor to be here, to be able to present to you. And because just a couple years ago, I was in your seats as a freshman, hearing people come and speak about their experiences. And the fact that I'm here is like so surreal. And I'm very thankful and honored to be here. And so, yeah, let's get into it. Let's talk about my summer experience at Microsoft. So, this internship was located in Redmond, Washington. I actually lived in Seattle, but I'll tell you more about the commute as we go on. And it was a 12-week internship from May to August. Now, what is this internship about? It was a Microsoft Explorer program. So this specific one was for sophomores, but the Explorer internship is basically a 12-week internship for first year and second year students who are interested in computer science. You may be undecided, but you still have like an interest in computer science, or you could be a computer science major or an electrical engineering major. So basically for first year and second year students who have that interest. And it provides you with experience in product management and software engineering. So that was very cool. And I think the most exciting thing or part about this is that you work in a pod of 3. So you're not alone. You have 2 other pod mates, you're working with them, and you're working on a real feature. And I think for me, it was so surreal that I am actually building a feature for Microsoft. Like, we use these products and everything, and wow, like, I'm here building an actual feature. And my manager, he really wanted us to be, like, have our own individual features, so each of us built our own feature, even though we were in a pod. And so imagine doing the whole, like, we're looking at user feedback, we're designing what we think this feature should be, and then we go into the software engineering phase where we're building this feature. And so that was just a very cool experience all around. Again, it's just like very mind-blowing to be in that, to have that experience, especially just looking back, because I was a biology major at the time when Signature of Excellence was happening in my freshman year. So to be able to do this now is mind-blowing. So let's go take a look at the lessons. The first one, there is always a solution. Like, there is always a way out, but you have to be able to leverage the resources you have around you, the people you have around you. Ask your manager, ask your mentors, ask questions, ask your team members, because there's always a way to solve that problem, whether long-term or short-term. And then change is the only constant. You have to be adaptable. How do you respond when things change, when priorities shift? Are you like, oh my gosh, like things have changed, like, okay, what do? I don't know what to do now. Or are you calm and thinking, okay, now things have changed, how do I reroute? How do I redirect and still achieve the goal that I want to achieve? And the last thing is close the loop. This is something my manager would say to me all the time, close the loop. And what I mean by this, dot your I's, cross your T's. You want to make sure that you're not leaving any gaps like untouched. You're making sure that you're meticulous, you're careful, and not just handling work carelessly. So you really want to put your best foot forward. Now, how did the honors program help to prepare me for this opportunity? Number one, confidence. So ever since my freshman year, I remember I was appointed the leader of my, the group presentation, the president group presentations. I was appointed the leader, and I was so surprised because imagine me straight from Nigeria, and like Ms. Howe appointing me as the group leader of 10 people, and I was so intimidated. But these experiences, when you're going out of your comfort zone and doing things that are good but might be uncomfortable, like you see yourself grow in ways that you never would have imagined. And so in this group project, I also am in the Honor Speech and Debate Society. And so I did all of that. We did a lot of presentations at the first Signature of Excellence and a lot of other presentations. And so on all the projects, even serving on the e-board, I served on the e-board in the 2024-2025 academic year. All those experiences were confidence building, even though I'm someone who naturally enjoys talking. But again, like just being in a new space, it can be a little intimidating. So all these things built my confidence. Then, so number two, excellence. Like Ms. Howe just literally said up here, it was something she would say to us in our freshman year, like, signature your work with excellence, author your work with excellence. You want to make sure you are going the extra mile. Yes, people will say, oh, perhaps you're doing too much, but it's way better to do too much than to be acting in a way that's below average, or to be providing work or doing work that's not like up to par. So you want to make sure that you're putting your best foot forward and being excellent. And so when people know that you do excellent work, you're trustworthy. People want to work with you, and that's what you're trying to build. And so these are just a few photos from the summer. I had fun this summer. And there were it wasn't just me who was at Microsoft. There were like 7 of us. And I see a few people over here. And we also met with Shamaya Mbetwe. She was also in the honors program, and she graduated, and she's working full-time at Microsoft. And she's right there in the middle. I don't know if you can see the photo. And she invited us for something. I went on boats, I went on ferries. So my whole theme in the summer was, work really hard. Monday to Friday, I would put in that work. And then Saturday and Sunday, I went to explore. Took a ferry to Bainbridge Island. I went to my first WNBA game, sponsored by the company. And so I went hiking for the first time, and to such a beautiful view. So there were just a lot of fun things to do. I saw Chilean flamingos when I went to the zoo. And you can ask me about my experience later, but I had a lot of fun, but I still put in a lot of work. And so, so what are the perks? This is a paid internship. They pay you bi-weekly, but at the same time, they cover relocation assistance, like getting you your transportation, flights, or if you're driving there, give you a stipend for driving, and also housing. So for housing, there's like lump sum, or corporate housing if you don't want to go look for your house yourself, or you just want the company to help you find housing, and then health insurance that covers a certain amount of things. And so many, a lot more perks. Like even for transportation, we got an Orca card. If you wanted to get a card, there are discounts that come with it. There are a lot of perks for interning at Microsoft. And so that was really fun. And so how do you apply? These are the QR codes. So the first QR code there is for the Explore program internship for second-year students. And so that's the one for freshmen isn't out yet, but it's supposed to come out in November. But I'll be on the lookout. If you're interested in that, you can definitely reach out to me. Or you can scan the QR code. This is the other one for Microsoft Careers page. What if you're not a CS major? What if you're a finance major? Microsoft has opportunities for people like that. And so you'd want to just, explore their careers page and see, okay, what opportunities does Microsoft have for me? But yes, thank you very much. And it was truly an honor to speak to you today. And I hope you enjoyed this presentation.
Greetings, my name is Trinity Ferguson. I am a junior biology major hailing from the magic city of Birmingham, Alabama. And tonight I will be discussing my internship at Meharry Medical College on modeling retinal immune responses to cancer therapies in ARPE19 cells. And I know that was a mouthful, but let's get right into it. So some of my duties within this project included optic nerve transection procedure in mice, which was basically the dissection of a mice's eye, removing the optic nerve from the retina. I also conducted Western blotting, which is a 3 to 4 day gelling process, using antibodies and then isolating specific proteins of interest. We also did genotyping, RNA sequencing, cell splitting of RPE cells in MDA468 media, which is basically taking the cells and isolating them so they don't overpopulate and go into cell death, which is apoptosis. So, project summary. Like I said, I did have the ARPE19 cells. These are human retinal pigmented epithelial cells. They act as a barrier between the retina and the choroid. The retina is a part of the back of the eye that receives light and then transfers that to nerve signals to the optic nerve to be in direct communication with the brain. And then our choroid is a part of the back of the eye where the blood vessels are stored. So we did have an MDA468 cell line, which is a triple negative breast cancer cell line, and we induced the cell line with the ARPE19 cells. We had 2 cancer therapies of interest, paclitaxel as well as carboplatin. These can be treated for cancers such as ovarian and breast cancer, but they can lead to ocular immune-related adverse effects, including irreversible blindness. So the objective of our project was to basically see the cell's viability under these cancer therapy conditions. Both cell lines, we noticed that the cell's viability had a significantly lower livelihood with carboplatin opposed to paclitaxel. And with further research, we want to understand the biomedical benefits and side effects of why the cells were not as alive with these drugs. So we also conducted a test with LPS. LPS is an endotoxin that induces inflammation. We wanted to check to see if CTLA4 and PD-L1 were present. These are negative proteins. Our T cells are able to fight off our cancerous invasions, but the CTLA4 and the PD-L1 puts restrictions on your immune system. And so within our testing over 24 and 48 hours, we noticed that both proteins were present in the ARPE cells. So, some of my greatest lessons. Number one, academic excellence without character will never make you remarkable. Who you are matters more than what you achieve. Your true impact is revealed by what people say after you leave the room, or if they say nothing at all. Your actions should leave a lasting positive impression. Curiosity outperforms intelligence when you ask the right questions. Growth comes from seeking understanding, not just having the right answers. So can everybody do me a favor and rise up to your feet for 1 second? All right, now shake the person's hand to your left and your right. Now you can sit back down. All right. The reason why I made you all do this is because we are all intellectual individuals in this room. However, not everyone is on the same playing field. So with that being said, some of the hands that you just shook will be your next bosses, your next CEOs, your next executive directors. So it's your responsibility to network properly and treat each other with care. So how did the honors program prepare me for this internship? The honors program prepared me for this internship by giving me the opportunity to not only find my voice, but use my voice. If it wasn't for the honors program, I would have remained the quiet person in the back of the room who had questions who were too afraid to ask. It is my duty as a veteran to show the next generation of leaders that the honors program is not a graveyard for dreams. However, it is your duty to accomplish your own dreams. Dreams that don't give birth are just visions with no purpose. If you are in the honors program and you do not grow, it is not by default, but it is by choice. So these are a couple of pictures that I have. To my far left is a picture of me next to my poster. In the middle is a picture with me and my roommates, Ebony Lee and Brianna McLeod from Lane College and FAMU University. To my far right is me standing next to my lab partner, Zane Wilson, who is a second-year medical student at Meharry. And at the bottom, I have the picture of all my lab cohort. Now, there were multiple and hundreds of applicants, but only 10 undergraduates were selected. So it is a pretty competitive internship, but we all have what it takes if you're looking to go into cancer research or MD. So how can you apply? You can go to Meharry's website and look up Meharry Cancer Cert. Some of the requirements is you must be a U.S. citizen, must be an undergraduate, a rising junior or senior, and you must maintain a 3.0 GPA. Lastly is internship details. This is a realistic picture of where you'll be staying. You'll be at Tennessee State University. The length of this program is 10 weeks and you'll be getting paid $5,000. Thank you all for your time and thank you, Ms. Holloway.
Sorry, computer science is not my major. Give me a second. Okay, so greetings. I am Kelvin Edwardson, honors sophomore political science major, hailing from the birthplace of Mardi Gras, Mobile, Alabama. And today I'll be talking to you guys a little about something it's more than an internship to me. It's more about community, family. So yeah, I'm from Mobile, Alabama, and in this subsection of Mobile, Alabama, there's a place called Africatown, Alabama, and it's where my family is from. So it's actually founded in 1866 by survivors of the last slave ship called the Clotilda. Like, there's a lot of black history in that community. You guys really don't understand. Like, please look into it when you get the chance. So they faced decades of environmental racism, so there was a nonprofit started to redevelop the community, and that's what I did over the summer. So what I did, I attended board meetings and things to help, maybe like a call to action for the community. I welcome visitors, tourists, and researchers. You know, I was really at the front desk. I was kind of very much like a secretary. Like, I remember one day there was this lady, she was like, "You welcome me so well into the community," and she paid for my lunch. So that was great. I provided feedback on the ARC's website about accessibility and clarity. I help with community service. As seen in that picture, that's me right there. I learned about property management, ownership, and development processes. Way too much for a 19-year-old to learn. And yeah, I learned more about my community and my culture and where I was from, which was the absolutely best part. So a little bit about a summary of my research. So I explored the archives about Black history in the Mobile area, which was incredible. You really do not know how much Black history is out there and how much is hidden away from us. I learned about the historical significance of landmarks in the community in Africatown and outside of Mobile. And once again, I learned about housing development processes and property ownership. And my major is political science. I do have aspirations of becoming an attorney. And I learned more about how legal processes and policy really impact the community and how what we do in a boardroom can impact a larger set of people, which was really rewarding to see. And my greatest lesson learned was leadership doesn't look just one way. Leadership can look more introverted for people, more extroverted for people. It really does not matter as long as you're a leader at the end of the day. Like being in those boardrooms, seeing how some people were more analytical, more logistical, more open with their ideas, it really inspired me to see that I can be whatever leader I want to be. And so how my honors family helped. So being in the honors program, being surrounded by like Black excellence like you guys, it showed me that I want to do something for my community and how I want to give back. Seeing how you guys lead and speak up and advocate for each other, it showed me how I can advocate for my own community. And yes, thank you guys for that. So details. So, oh, that's a nice picture. So it's a paid internship. Perfect. And I applied through the STEP program, which is a program in Mobile, Alabama. You must be a college student. You guys are college students. And I applied online. You had to submit some required documents. You had to go through a background check. There was an interview. So yes, before I end, I just want to say I really am grateful for this opportunity. You all really do not know. Just being a part of something that has to do with my community and being able to give back to my community was an absolutely incredible feeling. Being able to give back from a community that my parents are from, my grandparents are from, it was just an incredible feeling. And knowing that the work I was doing was giving back to the next generation and my family was really inspiring. And I could not have done it without my honors family. So thank you guys so much. And thank you for allowing me to speak to you.
Good evening, everyone. Give me a second to pull my presentation up. Perfect. Good evening, everyone. I am Olivia Mallard, a senior marketing major from St. Louis, Missouri, and I'm super excited to share my summer internship experience with you guys. So over the summer, I had the pleasure of interning at Wells Fargo, and I was under their Chief Operating Office line of business, specifically on their Enterprise Change Management team. And my office location was in Charlotte, North Carolina. During our first week of our internship, it was induction week, which is basically orientation week. And that's just an opportunity for the interns all over the country, not just interns who were working out of the Charlotte office, to get acclimated with the company and with other interns as well. They had us fly out to Disney, and it was also my birthday week, so it was really nice to spend my birthday in Disney World on Wells Fargo's dime. So over the summer, I was tasked with creating a marketing plan for enterprise change management. And basically, enterprise change management is whenever a company goes through any type of transformation, whether it's with their technology, their process, or people. Usually they have a team or consultants to come in to kind of teach the employees how to acclimate and adapt to that change. So my task over the summer was to create a marketing plan that not only promoted their change resource catalog where they house their learning and development resources for their employees, but to also create a template for them to actually push it out and train their employees. So that was very fun, and it was also very fulfilling to actually be doing work that's meaningful for the company and not just busy work. So outside of that project, I was helping them develop AI chatbots, which is something that they were implementing internally, as well as helping them identify defects using Jira, which is a popular software used in project management to help them clean out their registry software. For the lessons learned, definitely ask questions. I was definitely applauded a lot over the summer because of my ability to ask great questions. And that's super important because an internship is not just for the company to see if you're a good fit, but it's also to see if you're a good fit for that company. And so I like to see internships as a free trial period. So it's super important to ask questions, network within the company, get to know people there to see if it's a good fit for you. So when it's time to negotiate other internship or full-time offers, you're making an informed decision. Also, soft skills matter. I know a lot in today's time, people are really focused on technology and technical skills, but I believe that soft skills are what drives those technical skills. And companies will teach you how to do the technical work that they require. However, soft skills are within you. So it's really important to prioritize having those soft skills before you go into the company because that's really what they're looking for. Also challenge yourself. Definitely think outside the box. Don't limit yourself to just a project that you're doing. Definitely ask for more work if you have it within your schedule, and really try to put yourself out there and try new things while you're at the company. And lastly, utilize the learning and development resources within the company. A lot of companies nowadays use things like Coursera or even Pluralsight to kind of teach their company new skills. As an intern, I did have access to those things. So outside of my project, I was also polishing up my skills in things like project management, agile frameworks, which is in demand in today's workforce, and also learning about IT transformation, which is something that I was passionate about for my full-time career. So the duration of my internship was 10 weeks long. It was June through August, and I was residing on the UNCC campus. UNCC has summer intern housing, so it wasn't just Wells Fargo interns there. It was interns for like Deloitte, JP Morgan, Bank of America. So it was really nice to be able to network with other interns as well. So for my stipend, I got paid $33.66 an hour, which is my highest paid internship. And on top of that, they gave us a $2,500 stipend, which was paid 60 days before my start date, and it wasn't taxed, so I got the whole $2,500. And when it was time for me to pay for my internship housing and relocate to Charlotte, I didn't have to come out of pocket at all, and I even had some money left over. So I definitely would say that Wells Fargo takes care of their employees. And if there are any tech majors in here who are interested in Wells Fargo, I believe they start you guys off at $48 an hour. So for transportation, I did have my car in Charlotte. However, parking was very expensive because my office was downtown. So I took the train, which was free. I did pay a $50 summer pass just to make sure I was covering the cost, because they say like you have to pay for the train, but like nobody was really checking. So I really could have got away without paying. So that was a plus. So to prepare for this internship, definitely leverage any past internship experience that you've had and being able to speak on the work that you've done, as well as providing metrics. A lot of recruiters nowadays want to hear about numbers and see numbers on your resume. So make sure you're keeping track of that in any research projects or internship projects that you're doing. Also conferences, talk about conferences that you've been to, the things that you learned in those conferences. Having interview skills, dressing professionally, all of these things you guys probably know because you're in honors program. So of course, I know Ms. Holloway instills those values in you guys. So definitely leverage those experiences as well. And to land this role, I got this internship through the Thurgood Marshall College Fund. And I know for the past 2 years, Wells Fargo was the leading sponsor for that. So definitely attend that conference. I know they're also at the NABA conference as well. A lot of the other interns that I met over the summer got recruited through NABA. And utilize LinkedIn. A lot of recruiters are on LinkedIn, and that's where they post a lot of job opportunities. So definitely do not sleep on LinkedIn. And Wells Fargo also has a sophomore discovery program. So definitely take advantage of that if you are an incoming sophomore. And of course, networking and be confident in yourself. Make sure that you show up and show out, even if you make a mistake, own those mistakes. So here are just a few pictures of my summer. I had an amazing time, guys. Like, I honestly can't stress how much I love this internship. I've had 7 internships, and this was my favorite one. So this picture is when, this was on my birthday, we went to Epcot, and then this is when we went to the park in Disney. And then we also did puppies and yoga. It's basically like yoga, and they have like puppies there. It was so cool. And then down here, they had like a zoo. You guys know like those drive-through things, like where you could feed the animals out your car. We did that. That was really cool. This was National Intern Day. We also got to meet the CEO, so that was really cool. And here's just a photo shoot I did with my friends. Like I said, I built a great relationship with all the interns there. One of my friends that I made had a clothing brand, so we modeled for her brand. And down here is a pasta making class that we did in Charlotte as well. So Charlotte had a lot of really fun opportunities. And when you guys are out of town for your internships, especially if you're far away from home, definitely go out and explore the city because there's so many amazing opportunities and things to do. And that's all I have. I hope you guys enjoyed.
Are you inspired? You should be. You should be. All righty. Those are great. I also wanted to shout out the other scholars who are here that also interned at Microsoft this summer. Raise your hand. Okay. All righty. Raise your hand. Okay. And also, we had several students to have a summer experience at Meharry Medical College. There are so many programs. Trinity got into a very competitive one, the CERT program, but there are many others, and I think we had about 12 students. Raise your hand if you all went to Meharry this summer that also did that opportunity. And just a quick word about Olivia's opportunity. She got that offer from Thurgood Marshall College Fund's Leadership Institute. And so, as I always kind of push TMC of opportunities, make sure that you guys put yourself in a position to apply to go to LI. For underclassmen, they have DevCon. Raise your hand if you went to DevCon. I know we had it was about 30, 40 of y'all that went to DevCon that also have similar experiences. So make sure that you all are taking advantage of experiences, okay? Alrighty, so for our next half, our last half of presenters, we are going to go back to North Carolina, experiences in North Carolina, and then go into the capital city, our nation's capital in Washington, D.C. for an experience, before coming back down to what they call the Big Apple of the South, Atlanta, Georgia, before finishing in a very small town in Mississippi with Vicksburg, Mississippi. Awesome opportunities, cosmetic science, the Payne Center, and a great opportunity with the Army Engineering Research Lab. So in this order, we have Ms. Layla Gaynor as our first up in this half, followed by Heaven Stewart, Layla Boyle, and finishing us off, Mr. Chance Williams. Layla?
Greetings, everyone. My name is Layla Gaynor, and I'm a senior psychology honors scholar from Baltimore, Maryland. And I'm really excited to share with you all about my 2025 Payne Center Summer Fellowship. So a little background information on what exactly the Payne Center is. It's actually a research center founded by the Thurgood Marshall College Fund. It includes HBCU scholars, community advocates, policymakers, a lot of important people who are really working to find sustainable solutions to improve the quality of Black life in our American society today. So a little bit about the research that I conducted. It was two main points. The first was researching the roots of mass incarceration in Black communities. And the second was the evolution of Black criminology in the United States. This was really interesting because we worked under close mentorship from a Black criminologist, so it was really interesting to learn through his perspective and to see this problem through his lens. So to conduct this research, we did a lot of literature reviews, site visits, and visits with change makers. This was interesting because it wasn't just your average research. We were really using DC as our classroom. I'll show you guys a lot of pictures of some places we visited. But for example, the Library of Congress, we spent a lot of time there. It was very, very beautiful. We also wrote a 200-term race and criminal justice primer, which would soon be published. And this was because as we did our research, we noticed that there were gaps in society in which those who can fall victim to the criminal justice system were unaware of some of the terms that they would face. So we did a lot of literature reviews to give them definitions to these terms in a very digestible manner. And finally, we are working to plan a national convening called Rethinking the Pipelines to 50 Years of Mass Incarceration. This will be very monumental, and I'm very excited to be a part of this because it's been 50 years since they've had the last meeting of a lot of policymakers, social advocates, change makers who are really at the forefront of fighting mass incarceration. So we're working to provide them a space where they can have panels and just open discussions to find solutions to this problem. So a few places we visited, we went to Pennsylvania Prison Society. This was really interesting because this organization bridges the gap between those who are incarcerated to their families. For example, if you have someone incarcerated and you haven't heard from them in a while, you can reach out to the society and they'll do a wellness check because a lot of times people are just not accounted for. We also visited the Eastern State Penitentiary. We met in the office with Senator Raphael Warnock, Senator of Georgia. We sat down with the NAACP and their interns, which was pretty interesting because we were able to see current efforts that they're doing. My favorite visit was with Judge Yvonne Williams. She really took us around the district court in DC and told us about her story. Very, very, very motivational. And well, my actual favorite experience was going to Broadway in New York City. I remember we woke up from Philadelphia and they gave us all train tickets to go to New York. And we were like, oh, okay. And then while we were there, we went to a restaurant. It was all-you-can-eat seafood boil place. I didn't even know they had those. Really, really nice, really nice. How did the honors program prepare me? I always go back to my first year experience class with Ms. Holloway and how she just instilled that excellence in you from the first day you get there. And just also attending events like this and seeing other scholars achieving and just wanting to be as excellent as that. The transferable skills I gained from previous experiences that I got through the honors program, such as other TMCF immersions, which allowed me to apply my personal and professional skills to this. And then also just the confidence to understand that I belonged in the room. So some lessons that I gained personally, I know I just said I was very confident going into this, but imposter syndrome is very real. In this internship, I was with a lot of criminal justice majors and I was the only psychology major. So I really felt like the black sheep and it was hard for me to sometimes digest information since I wasn't from that background. But talking with my mentors and working through these emotions was very pivotal because it allowed me to understand that I belong in every room that I enter because our skills make us more than prepared to be great. And professionally, as a behavioral science psychology major, it is very hard to get internships when you're not in your master's schooling. So when you're trying to occupy rooms that are not available, you sometimes have to make them for yourself. I know that research is really important. So I had to take the route of going through a criminal justice research to gain the skills that I would need later. And then finally, that you can apply your discipline to many different areas. Being a psychology major, I thought very straightforward that I can only do research or practice. But doing an opportunity like this showed me that now I'm interested in working with the School to Prison Pipeline and research that I can do with that. So your journey is really important and just take in every moment because it could just be reshaping the purpose that you have. And finally, the internship details. Housing was provided in Washington, D.C., as well as all the cities we traveled to. the housing was really nice. I mean, I got there, it was a 2-floor apartment, penthouse in DC. It really gave like Olivia Pope summer. The stipend was $5,000 distributed over the 10 weeks that you were there. So it was from June 1st to July 31st. And the link to apply will be live in December. They take the site down for some reason, but I'll make sure to send it to Ms. Holloway so you all have that information. And there's my contact information if you have any questions, especially if you're a behavioral science or psychology major that you might need help finding internships. I can help you with that. So thank you.
Hey everybody. Okay. I am Heaven Stewart, a sophomore food science major from New Orleans, Louisiana. And this summer I went to Spelman for the Black STEMinist kind of lab intensive. So I'm going to be talking about who and where, the responsibilities I had, how the honors program helped me, pictures, and how y'all can apply. So, who and where? My internship was at Spelman College, which is in Atlanta, Georgia. It was only a week and some change. It was from the 5th to the 14th. Dr. Leda Winfield, who is with the red pants in this picture next to the main character of Ironheart, the new series on Disney+. Yeah, she came talk to us. We got a $500 stipend and travel was included, so it was provided, housing was provided. We stayed in the Spelman dorms. You had your own room, but you shared a kitchen with 2 other girls. So the first part we had was the summit where different researchers from all over the world would come and present their research. It was sponsored by L'Oreal, so you know I got them free samples. Some examples of some research that was presented was how the earlier you get your period in life, the higher risk of cancer you have. There's actually a lot of estrogen people put in our hair products as young black girls that will cause you to have your period earlier. Another example is how they're starting to make weave out of banana fiber. It's way healthier, but it is low-key expensive, guys. So. This is Sam Fine. He helped design Michelle Obama's makeup, and he's just a famous makeup artist. And yes, we were provided with breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks throughout the day. So the lab intensive, our routine was to wake up. We would eat breakfast around 8 a.m. Then we would have a lecture on what we were doing in the lab today. For example, we learned about different things like surfactants and emollients, which is in face wash, which is what I'm making in the lab. You would go in the lab, there would be a paper on your desk, and you were given nothing. You just had to follow the paper. They kind of throw you to the wolves, which I liked personally. And then you have lunch. We go back to the lab and do something else. So in this video, I'm making the face wash. You can see on the bottom how I measured out all my ingredients. And some things we made are mousse, face wash, perfume, and lipstick. And you got to keep and use what you made, so it was safe. Some lessons I learned is to widen your skills. As I said before, I am a food science major. So going on a cosmetic science internship was me broadening who I was. I learned a lot. A lot of the professors and researchers there started out in food science and then converted into cosmetic science, which inspired me to do the same thing. Something else I learned is that networking is crucial. I met my mentor to this day at this internship, who has provided me with an internship for next summer. Also, on the right, that is Jasmine Bronner, who is the daughter of Dr. Bronner, if y'all use his products. I also learned that time management is important in allowing yourself to have fun. We were given time after lab to go around Atlanta and explore the city. I kind of grew up going in and out of Atlanta, so there was really nothing for me to see because New Orleans is better, but yeah. Okay, so honors program contributions, take notes. I know the freshmen, y'all have to take notes for this, but going on out of orientation, it is important to take notes. The notes that I took in the lecture class helped me in the lab, and the notes that I took during the summit helped me educate y'all on our hair products and the stuff in our hair. Also, confidence is key. Honors really helped me learn confidence in that everyone is not out to get you. You just need to be confident, and you'll earn the opportunity that God wants you to have. Pictures. So on the top left is me and some friends that I made at the summit. The right is us in the lab, and the bottom left, my mom is a professor, so she actually was there as well. And the video in the middle is me bottling the mascara that I made in the lab. And then this is all the girls that were there and the professors. How you can participate. This is the QR code to scan to participate. If it's not working, which the website be on and off, please come to me after and I'll help you get in contact with Dr. Leda Winfield. Thank you so much.
Okay, greetings, good evening. My name is Layla Boyle. I am a junior pre-med biology major with a chemistry minor from Memphis, Tennessee. This past summer, I was an intern at United Therapeutics in the clinical contracts team. So as an overview, United Therapeutics is a biotechnology company focused on creating unique products to address the needs for patients with chronic illnesses. Their goal is to reduce the progression and ultimately end end-stage organ disease. So as a clinical contracts intern, I was responsible for creating, negotiating, and finalizing legal agreements for clinical research. UT was very open with what you can do. If you saw something that you like, you can ask them to shadow different groups. For example, I shadowed the medical writing team and also the organ manufacturing team. These are some of the things that I participated in, such as file audits and board meetings. A lot of what I had to do was working with Excel. However, they did let me go into board meetings and things like that. So a summary of my research. My research focused on two main diseases. The first one was pulmonary arterial hypertension. Pulmonary arterial hypertension is a condition where the blood vessels in the lungs are narrowed, blocked, or constricted, making it hard for the heart to pump blood. And the more and more constricted they get, the harder the heart has to work, and therefore that can lead to heart failure. The other one is more of an umbrella term. Interstitial lung diseases are a group of lung diseases characterized by the scarring or inflammation of lung tissue, causing a decrease in oxygen to get to the bloodstream, therefore also leading to heart failure. The lessons learned. I wanted to highlight three main lessons. The first one was that when I started this internship, I had a simple idea of how research started. For example, a scientist has an idea, designs an experiment, and then gets started. However, being at UT showed me that before a study can even begin, there are many different layers of legal steps, approvals, and contracts, and more that have to be finalized before a researcher can start a project. The second one is that every part of the process is centered around the patient. That one role isn't less significant than another. That one job description, that no matter what your job description is, your work contributes to the same mission of helping someone in need. However that may look, developing a new therapy, modifying an existing one, or understanding that made me see the value in every single step. The final lesson I learned that I really wanted to highlight was that having a seemingly non-traditional pre-med internship. I realized that I could use this experience to stand out in my medical school applications, and combined with the research experience that I had on campus, I can now say that I have experience on both sides. I can now say that I went from being hands-on in the lab here on campus during the school year to understanding the operational, regulatory, and logistical side of clinical research. It showed me that how many different paths of medicine truly exist, and a true representation of how broad the field is. For instance, during my internship, I was given the opportunity to speak with a physician who transitioned from being a travel OBGYN who worked primarily in Puerto Rico, and then she transferred into United Therapeutics. My internship was from May 19th to August 15th. They were pretty lenient. During the last week, I was able to be virtual, and I just had to ship my stuff back. I was based out of Research Triangle Park in North Carolina. I was actually right across the street from the organ manufacturing team, where I took the shuttle from RTP to the organ manufacturing. I got to see them manufacture lungs. They also have locations in Florida, Virginia, New Hampshire, and Quebec. They offered a relocation stipend and included a biweekly pay. I personally stayed at the North Carolina State's campus, but they also gave the opportunity to stay at UNC Chapel Hill. And they also had apartments right across the street from the United Therapeutics building. The honors impact. The main impact was probably my interview skills, specifically the STAR method, which is situation, task, action, and result. I was complimented on my interview skills and the way I addressed them. Even my manager had complimented me after I had gotten the position, and I wouldn't have known that without honors. Before honors, I was very shy and timid, as I am kind of now, about my interviewing, and I didn't really know what to say. But when I got to honors, they truly showed me how to approach it with confidence and how to have a framework of what you want to say. Also, a key thing was building professional habits, even as simple as dress. The statement, dress for the job that you want, is very true. I got complimented that on pretty much on the first few weeks of my internship. And they had optional on Fridays, if you had some UT merch, you could dress down, which they did provide a lot of merch and stuff like that. I got a good shirt. How you can apply. I was reached out to this opportunity through a TMCF coordinator, through the talent sign up. You just put your name, your resume, and your major, and they curate opportunities for you. If they see something that correlates to what you've done or what's in your resume, they'll send it to you. So here's the QR code for that. The application cycle for this specific internship opens up back in March, and that was it.
Whew. All right, y'all, good evening. Some of y'all fell asleep. Good evening. There we go. Let's finish off with a bang. So I am Chance Williams, a honors junior computer science major from the capital of the USA, Washington, D.C., and I will be presenting on my internship with the U.S. Army Engineer Research and Development Center in Vicksburg, Mississippi. That's ERDIC for short. So what is ERDIC? Many of you are probably familiar with the term R&D, research and development. ERDIC is the Army's R&D facility. It is divided into 7 key laboratories, with 4 stationed in Vicksburg, 1 in Alexandria, 1 in Chicago, and 1 in New Hampshire. These 7 labs essentially enveloped all forms of science, from civil engineering to mechanical engineering to electrical, biology, psychology. Every single science can be found in these 7 laboratories. I had the honor of working in Vicksburg, Mississippi with the ITL, Informational Technology Laboratory. This lab specialized in supercomputing, artificial intelligence, robotics, and essentially anything having to do with computers. And so what did I do? I was assigned to a project known as Battle Damage Assessment. Essentially, this project looked at battlefields post-damage events to assess how much damage was done to them. This was a massive project, working for a couple years before I got there, but I'm honored to be able to say I not only worked on it, I was there for the end of it. And so this project used AI and computer vision, as well as satellite data, geospatial data, And it was pretty incredible. I worked with scientists from across several different government laboratories. I reported directly to the branch chief. I documented all my work for several different stakeholders. And of course, like any big job, I had other duties as assigned. You'll hear that term a lot, unfortunately. And so what actually was my research? So the goal was to develop automated methods to perform faster and more accurate 2D and 3D battle damage assessment. So we looked at battlefields from across the past decade or more, as well as places of major natural disasters. Y'all remember those wildfires in California? We looked at those. And so essentially we used satellite imagery to take an overall scan of the area, combined it with our artificial intelligence to then report how much damage was done to that area. And y'all, let me tell you, this was hard. I've never worked with AI before. I've never worked with advanced machinery, geospatial data before. This is my first time doing it. And we were successful. We were able to look at several dozen battlefields, including Gaza, Israel, and Ukraine, and do advanced battle damage assessment. In the past, this was done manually by analysts, which took months, meaning that we could not make rapid decisions on humanitarian aid. And because of the work done by me and my team, we are now able to do rapid battle damage assessments with at least an 80% accuracy and a 50% reduction in time. This means we are able to assess how much damage was done to a battlefield for rapid decision making and for rapid rebuilding efforts. So you can see on the screen right here, actually, we took an overall scan. I believe this is Ukraine. And you can see highlighted and broken down areas of damage, from completely destroyed to no damage at all. What this means is now we can go back and look at specific costs to rebuild. Not only that, we can take a 3D measure of specific buildings to get volumetric measurements of how damaged they are. It was a long project, y'all, but I'm incredibly grateful to say I worked on it and we were able to help people with it. So what did I learn from this? Well, I learned a lot of technical skills, because before this internship, I really never did much real computer science work. I wasn't really into computer science until this internship, but I learned that confidence is key. You've heard that a lot today, but I'm also going to explain a little bit more. Don't be afraid to reach out, learn something new, or take on a new role. A lot of times when people hear internships for early college careers, they think you're going to be, moving coffee, shuffling papers. And truthfully, that's what I assumed until they told me, no, you'll be making the largest database in government history. It was a lot of work, and I was scared. But as you can see, it turned out pretty well. So you have to be ready to jump at the task assigned to you, ready to take on anything that comes your way. And if you can do that, I guarantee if you have the knowledge necessary, you will be successful. And so there's a couple pictures here. This one on the right is actually my office door. And so as an intern, one of the first things we do is we get to decorate our office. And so I don't know if anybody here is big on football, but go Ravens. Sorry, y'all. And this internship was actually with a lot of other HBCU students. So of course I had to shout out A&M because I was there with somebody from state. Moment of silence for them. Anyways, back to my office. My office actually had 3 computer monitor screens. It actually told me that I needed more computers. And so immediately following my internship, I went and bought 2 more monitors because I got addicted to having multiple. And on the left, actually, you can see my next project. So next summer, I will be going back here to work on what we call the dam bots. Essentially, this is a robot that goes inside of dams to do repairs, scanning, and imagery. How did the honors program prepare me? So honors really strengthened my professionalism and my communication. It gave me confidence through Honors Speech and Debate League. Shout out to all the members in here. It gave me supportive mentors and like-minded peers. I'm so happy to be among you all. And it gave me the best of the best mindset. And so that really carried me far. In those moments of doubt where I was like, oh my gosh, can I complete this internship? I paused and went, no, I'm really the best. I got it like that. And if I didn't have it like that, I went and asked my mentor. So how can you apply? So I'm actually speaking on 2 internship programs. So my initial research was done through the DoD HBCU MI summer internship, which is now the DOW HBCUI summer internship. It's only open to HBCU students, so congratulations to you all. It's 10 weeks. It pays $1,500 per week on top of a $1,000 travel stipend. It's fully funded, housing and travel are fully covered, and the outcome of this scholarship is I became a DoD Smart Scholar. So a lot of you have probably heard of the DoD Smart Scholarship but assume you're ineligible. So on the right side of the screen here, I have a list of majors, and this is not all inclusive. There's a lot of majors left off of this. But if your major is even remotely STEM, you're eligible for both of these programs, and I highly encourage you to apply. The Smart Scholarship is one of the most prestigious scholarships in the world. It provides full tuition, a monthly stipend, internships every summer, all the way through grad school, and a guaranteed job in the government post-graduation. Y'all, right now, I don't even go to career fairs, I'm not gonna hold you, because I have a job post-graduation. It is genuinely one of the greatest experiences of my life to be a Smart Scholar. And I want to see more of us. A&M has only ever had, I believe, 24 in the program's 50-year history. I need to see all of you apply, like genuinely. Speaking of application, here's how you can apply. So on the left side of the screen, we have a link to the Smart Scholarship. This is a big application. It requires at least 2 references, a personal statement, and a couple other things. If you need a reference as a current Smart Scholar, I can write a reference for you. And I will write a reference for you because we are family. And I want to see each and every one of you as a Smart Scholar. Now, the one on the right, and we've been having issues with it because, as you guys know, the DoD has transitioned to the DOW for some reason. So we are now transitioning that website over to the DOW HBCUI internship. You can find it on Google. If you need help with that one, I will also help you with that one. These are both amazing internship programs, and they're great for all STEM majors, and they are both currently open. SMART closes, I believe, the first week of December. DOW HBCUI doesn't close till January. You have plenty of time. Think about it, but don't really think about it because you all should apply. And that's all I got, y'all. If you have any questions, if you want to apply, come find me. Thank you.
All righty, let's give all of our presenters a round of applause. If you got nothing from these presentations, one, you weren't listening. But if you got nothing from the presentations, hopefully now you understand that any room you set your foot in belongs to you. You deserve every seat at every table. And where there is no room, you bring your own table. The students at this university in this honors program can compete with any student in the nation. And so you go with that confidence. The second thing I want to make sure is clear today. You should keep an open mind when it comes to these opportunities. And you should be applying to everything all the time. It's great to have an experience in your major that's connected to what you want to do. Howsoever, even if an opportunity has nothing to do with your major and experience, I encourage you to apply.